We wanted to make a healthier chip, play with the air fryer, and get rid of some potatoes in the process. The recipe we found called for an air fryer, salt, paper towel, oil, in our case, olive oil, bowl of cold water, potatoes. The way to cut, we chose a mandolin. We turned these washed potatoes into these. Looks like chips already. The mandolin gave very thin slices, which are chip-like already, and kept it very consistent, which is the key to even cooking. The author called out for leaving the skins on, which need to be cleaned. Look how dirty this looks. I mean, it does come right out of the ground. I washed it under cold water, using my hands to best agitate the skin of the potato to get all the grime off. Here, the mandolin's guard was not big enough with potatoes, so be very careful not to cut yourself on the extremely sharp blade. Using an even pressure, I slid the potato along the path, cutting the potato down. We can see this gives us the consistency that we're looking for. Here we can see how fast the potatoes cut down, so make sure you have your wits about you using this piece of equipment. Alright, now we have our raw chips. Like most raw potato recipes, we have to soak them for 20 minutes before cooking. Here I'm putting the slices in the bowl, and I personally like to swap out the water and rinse after done cutting to allow the cleanest water to help break down the starches. 20 minutes have gone by. I've dumped the water and now drying everything down for the best chances of crisping. This allows the oil to grab on the potatoes as water and oil do not mix. I lay the potatoes single layer and press with a paper towel. Once dry, transfer to a clean bowl for oiling and salting. The recipe calls for the air fryer to be set at 200 degrees, so while I'm finishing up the other potatoes, I'll preheat. I added roughly a tablespoon of oil to the bowl with the dry potatoes, salted and mixed by tossing and by hand to try and give an even coat. Next it calls for a single layer of potatoes in the air fryer at 200 degrees for 20 minutes. We found the potatoes all basically gathering by the fan, crisping in all sorts of ways at the edge, while the middle was still raw. I then called for 5 minutes at 400 degrees. This is what came out after following the recipe. Crisp, yet more like burned. In an effort to speed up the process and salvage the rest of the potatoes, we went with baking for the first step. So 20 minutes at 200 degrees in the oven, instead of the air fryer. Then we put them in the air fryer for the last step, 5 minutes at 400 degrees. These were far better but did not cook evenly. Every minute you had to check the air fryer to take out the pieces that were done, and then continue the process. It was a pain. Insert "we got chips at home" meme. If I were to do this again, I would kettle cook or deep fry, as I know I can get better results and more consistency, as well as take less time. I'd probably also use a different oil. This whole process to get meh results took about an hour. 20 minutes to soak, 25 minutes in the air fryer, and 5 to 10 minutes of prep work. Or I can go to the store and be back in 20 minutes. Hope you enjoyed this fail. If so, give this video a thumbs up, and please consider subscribing.